What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 25 Ultimate Team video. In today's video, we're going to be giving you an update on the best theme teams to be using right now in MUT 25. But before we do that, let's go over some tips and tricks on how to build your theme team, some efficient ways, some lineup things that you can do as well. My team is right now a hybrid of Lions and Eagles, and there's basically two main goals. Number one, to get a 20 of 40 theme team, and number two, to get a 40 of 40 theme team. Getting to 20 gives you +1 speed to all of those theme team cards. Getting to a 40 is going to give you +2 speed, and at this point, there's a couple different directions you can go. It's very easy to get a 20 of a 20 team. You can definitely do a hybrid team like I'm doing with the Eagles and Lions. It's not possible unless you're spending a lot of coin to go like 40-40 for two different teams, and you can also go 20-20-20 and do 3 different teams. And we're going to visit MUT.gg and show you a really nice tool that you can use to help you build the theme team, to help you find cards for your theme team, and again, just go over the best theme teams to go out there and build. I just want to talk about a couple player-specific cards or program-specific cards. Now, when you're building your theme team and, you know, this lineup screen is bugged over on the left, you can see that the Lions and Eagles logos are like over the text. It's not supposed to be like that. They made sure that they were allowing to Saquon Barkley to do a backwards hurdle in the game before they actually fix this part. It's been broken all year, but if you go to your chemistry section, you can get an idea of where you're at for every theme team, and you can see when I hover over the Eagles, there's little up arrows on all of the Eagles on my lineup here. If we go over to defense, it'll do the same thing. When I hover over the Lions, you can see all of the players that are affected or, you know, boosted up by the Lions team chemistry. And if you want to see the exact boost that you're receiving, you're going to hit start on your controller. That's going to pull up this screen, which is still over on the left, and you can see tier 1, we get +1 to acceleration, tier 2, strength, tier 3, change of direction, tier 4, which is 20 items, that's the most important one, to get that plus speed. And then if you do it again, it basically repeats itself with strength, acceleration, change of direction, and speed. I don't think we're going to see any additional tiers get added onto this, but you never know. If I remember correctly, later in the year, last year, they did end up going to tier 50 or tier 10, which was 50, but I don't think you ever saw another speed boost. And for the most part, that's why people build theme teams, for the love of their favorite team and to get players boosted specifically with speed. So there's a couple different things, trips, techniques that you can do to try to get to 20-20 or 40-40. Number one, go to your strategy items. Very important that you go down to the team affinity section to equip a strategy item. At this point in the year, you have a lot of different options. So you have your silver strategy item, which is going to give you ×1 for that team. Green will be ×2, blue will be for ×3, and purples will be ×4. We could see legendary team strategy items very, very soon, which would give you ×5. So for this one, we have a ×4 on Eagles because of this strategy item, and we literally, you know, we got 4 of 20 right there without even having to touch our roster. Now, I don't believe the purple strategy items for teams are available on the auction house. They're all B&D. I'm pretty sure these were rewards within the season field pass from a prior season. So if you don't have one, you may have to settle for a blue, which gives you ×3. Also, your playbooks and visuals tab on the far right of your lineup is simply just that. You can see what are, what players are boosted because of Eagles team chemistry. We go to defense, it's going to show you the same exact thing. You can see it on the special team screen. You can see it on the specialist screen. When you go to playbooks and visuals, again, it's just that. So your stadiums, your uniforms, your coach, they don't have anything to do with your theme team. It's literally just visual. There's a few programs and cards that are specific to that program that can also help you build out your theme team, with the main one being Team Captains, which is 100% free at this point. And some of the cards are different. Like there's a few players. Pat Tillman can be upgraded to a 95 overall. Jason Elam can only go up to a 94. I think Troy Vincent's another one that goes up to a 95. I don't know why it is that way, but EA capped some players at 94 and others at 95. But team captains are incredibly important for theme teams because number one, they're free cards. Number two, you can get all 32 team chems on these cards. And number three, at this point, fully upgraded, I think at the bare minimum to a 93 overall, they can get up to ×3, and you can kind of mix and match. So you can see on Jason Elam here, we have 2 Eagles and 1 Lions to help me get 20-20 on each of them. But if I wanted to to go 3 different theme teams, I could do that. If I wanted to go 2 Lions and 1 Eagle, I could do that. If I wanted to go 3 Lions, 3 Eagles, I could do that. Now, the importance of a hybrid theme team and then spreading out the team chemistries on a team captain 2 different ways gives you a double speed boost. Now, it's not really going to help me for my kicker, but because I have half Lions, half Eagles on this one, he's going to get +2 speed. If you did a 40-20 theme team, you could potentially get +3 speed on a team captain. So there's a lot of flexibility and versatility with these team captain cards. Team builders and team diamonds, really important. I mean, it kind of says it in the name. These are promo cards that were designed to help you build out theme teams. And with the team builder divisional champions, you may have noticed Andrew Thomas, for example, he was the NFC East division champion at one point. It tells you what they are under the description. Because he was in the NFC East, this card actually gets all chemistries from that division. So even though he's never played for the Eagles before, we have that ability. Now, you might have some principles, like I'm never going to put a Cowboy player on my Eagles theme team because we beat down the Giants every year. It doesn't matter so much. They're like our little brothers, our little sons. Thank you so much for Saquon, by the way, Offensive Player of the Year. So these are cards that you want to look for, right, when it comes to team builders. Also, just regular team builders that aren't champions from a division can get ×2 chemistry for the active team that they are playing for. Now, unfortunately, there are solo challenges that it just went MIA. They're missing. Hopefully, when we get, what would it be, part 5 of team builders, they will put them back into the game. But if we go back to an older card here in Bryce Huff, you go to his upgrade path, that second slot is going to be used for an upgrade token from the team builder promo. And if you happen to have any of those tokens, I don't know where mine are right now. Never mind. I think I found one. We can use Taylor Decker as an example here. They can get ×2 chemistry for the team that they actively play for or that they got that team builder for. So this is another way. I mean, this is my backup left tackle, right? He's never going to touch the field, but we got ×2 Lions on him because of these team builders. You can also always go into the catalog to view these things without actually owning the card. So DeAndre Swift is a really good example that it has to be the active team that they're playing for to get the ×2 chemistry. And Swift is a great example for me, right? Because in his main bucket here, he gets access to Bears, Eagles, and Lions. Now, you would think with this card, you could just go Eagles, Lions, because he played for both of them. Because the Bears were his active team this season, I can go Lions or Eagles in that first bucket, but the second bucket, we're only going to have access to the Bears. But again, these cards, these team builders, they're really old. A lot of them, they're really inexpensive, but they're still vital to helping you build your theme team. Throughout the year, we've also had a ton of team builder champions. Zach Martin is the latest one. Again, really old card. It's been a while since we've had new team builders. Kirby Joseph was one. DK Metcalf. These cards get all 32 team chems. Now, these can be really helpful, obviously, if you're building a theme team that's outside of the team that these players have played for. But because a lot of these outside of Zach Martin are really inexpensive, they're not bad cards if you randomly get them out of some type of pack to keep. Because if you're building a theme team or you like to change up your theme team pretty frequently, these are cards that you can plug and play within your roster and get any team chemistry on them. What I'm saying is basically they can become valuable at any time. And because a lot of them are inexpensive, you know, Kirby Joseph, strong safety, you only have 2 slots on your depth chart there. But when you think about DK Metcalf, which is about 50,000 coins, you can always hide this card at wide receiver number 5. And again, he's going to get all 32 team chems. Team Diamonds won't get all 32 team chems, but the 95 overalls, which are finally starting to get somewhat affordable for a lot of people, do have ×3. So like Deshaun Jackson, this card was over 2 million coins for a very, very long time, finally starting to creep down. But this is a card, once it maybe gets to 400 or 500K, I might be willing to spend that because we can get ×3 Eagles chemistry on him. And the same thing's going to go for the 92 overalls, which all of the players who got a 95 also have a 92. The very slight difference here is that instead of ×3, they're going to get ×2 of a chemistry here. Mark Sanchez, for example, will get ×2 Jets. Now, he's played for a handful of other teams. Eagles, Commanders, wow, he literally played for almost the whole division, and Cowboys. You cannot get ×2 on the team that they played for, only the team they represent. And the 92s from the Team Diamond promo, really, really inexpensive these days. Deshaun Jackson right now is my wide receiver number 5. and my kick and punt returner because I'm getting that double Eagles chem on him. So these are more cards that you can go out there and look to buy to help you build that theme team. Finally, one other type of card that will get all 32 team chems, and right now we only have 3 players that you can actively chase after, is going to be in the ranked game mode. So the current ranked session that's going to go from the start of February to the end of February, and every month that's how it goes. You got Kelvin Megatron Johnson, Julius Brents, and Michael Penix Jr. If you get the hero level, the champion level, or the top 100, and again, got to be in the top 100 on the leaderboard to get this Kelvin Johnson when the month's end. These cards also get all 32 team chems, so they're usually worth going after specifically for that reason. Like, I might not care for this Michael Penix, but I might want to play ranked because it's an opportunity to make some good coin in that game mode, but also earn some good cards. And if I land on the Michael Penix here, he can go and be my backup quarterback for the rest of the year. And I know whenever I need to, I can put Eagles chemistry on him. I can put Lions chemistry on him to help me build out my theme team. If you have older ranked cards, it's not a bad idea to continue to hang on to them. Johnny Wilson I still have because he actually plays for the Eagles, but I think there's a Kyle Pitts from the first ranked session. He's still right now tight end number 3 on my roster, and whenever I might need one Eagle, I can put that on him. Whenever I might need one Lion, I can switch that on him. So these cards, they do have a coin quick sell value, but don't be so quick to get rid of them because it could come in handy down the road. So one final tip or trick that I want to go over before we talk about the best theme teams to build and head on over to MUT.gg is hiding players within your specialist screen. Now, at this point, I haven't had to resort to doing that, but later on the year, or if you're trying to build, you know, a 20-20-20 theme team, these are different things that you might want to do. Now, I believe, just like the real NFL, you're only allotted 53 players on your roster, but there are certain positions, specifically linebackers and cornerbacks, wide receivers and running backs, where you can hide players. So ideally, if I wanted to, you know, I wanted to get different chemistries on the field, I could take out both my middle linebackers or my right outside linebacker and middle linebacker in this case, and say I wanted to start trying to build a third theme team on this account. We'll just use the Ravens for an example. They have a pretty good theme team right now. I could put 2 Ravens in these positions here, and they would count towards, you know, our quest to getting to 20 Ravens. I could put another one at wide receiver number 5. I could go through and put another one at wide receiver number 3. And sorry, I meant cornerback number 5 a moment ago, but really what I was trying to say is cornerback number 3, and obviously Dion gets Ravens chemistry, so poor example there. But what I would then do, these players, like we could put bad players there or players we don't want actually to touch the field. I could then head over to my specialist screen and put the actual players that I want in at sub linebacker right here in Ray Nitschke and Oren Burke. So these guys would actually go onto the field. Their chemistries would not count for me, but if I had 2 Ravens at right outside linebacker and middle linebacker 1, I'd still be getting the boost for the Ravens that are going to touch the field, and it would go towards that count of 20 or 40, but the guys that would actually play would be the better players. And again, in this situation, it'd be Ray Nitschke and Oren Burks. You can do the same thing with your slot receiver. I could put somebody else at wide receiver number 3, but the slot receiver is the player that's actually going to touch the field. I guess another really good example here is if I wanted, you can notice here I'm at 29 of 30 Eagles. If I wanted to get to 30 Eagles, I could put another Eagle player right here, but Xavier Worthy, I still want to get him on the field. I would then go over to specialists and keep him on the slot wide receiver part. He would still be a starter, one of my top 3 receivers. His chemistry would not be counting, which we don't really need. We would have another player there to get us up to 30 Eagles. And again, you can do the same thing with CB 3 and 4 with your slot cornerbacks 1 and 2. They would suffice. Same thing with rush left end and rush right end. You could put different defensive ends on your defensive screen, but whoever's at RLE1 and RRE1, they're actually going to be on the field all the time. So once you get to 53 players, it's going to stop you from doing that, but it is a way to go out there and hide some players within your lineup that might be still good and you want them on the field, but you don't want their chemistry to count. You want other chemistries to count. You can kind of trick the system that way. So to close out the video, we're going to use MUT.gg theme teams, or MUT.gg/theme teams. There is a dash in between theme teams, but you can always just go to MUT.gg and click theme teams up at the top. Number 1, this is a tool that you can use to help you build the theme team. And number 2, it's a place that you can go through and view every theme team, the costs associated, the best players to pick from it, pretty much everything. So if you just want to get an idea of what you need to do to build a certain theme team, you can click this hybrid theme team button and you can select up to 3 teams. Now for me, again, we go Eagles and Lions. I was will select those, I will click View Hybrid Theme Team, and it's now going to show me at every single position the best available options at those positions, the costs associated. If you look in the upper right part of your screen, it will tell you what your team expected OVR would be on offense and defense, special teams, overall, of course. And we talked about all of those players like the team builders, the team diamonds, the cards that get additional team chemistries, maybe for teams they never played for. You can always toggle this include all players button, and once I do that, it now throws the Michael Penix Jr. in there. Even though he's never played for either of these teams, we showed you that he gets any team chemistry, so these now become viable options. Same thing with the Team Diamond Julius Peppers, and you can scroll through, you're going to see cards that actually have played for these teams combined with players that have never played for these teams. Also, in the upper right, if you click View in Liner Build up here, not only can you see like an actual depth chart of the team that you might want to build, but if you look towards that upper right, you can see right here the price that it would cost. Now, obviously, that's a pretty pricey theme team, and if I wanted to, we could build an Eagles Lions theme team for the low price of 33.6 million coins. If you just want to stick to one theme team, I can go here and click the Eagles. Number one, I think the most important thing is that it shows you the OVR that you can have potentially by building the best available Eagles theme team in the game. Again, the screen's going to look pretty similar where you scroll through every single position. It's going to point out all of the cards that you're going to need. It tells you the secondary positions if you need to move people around. We talked about the team diamonds, the team builders, team captains. You can see Troy Vincent. It tells you you can get up to ×3 chemistry on him. If I go back here, Bryce Huff, which is a team builder, it shows you that you can get ×2 chemistry. The team diamond Deshaun Jackson ×3. So it gives you all of the information that I just talked about. Again, you have the include all players toggle here where it's going to show you players who get all 32 team chems factored into this situation. We can turn that off. We can go back to the view lineup builder. It's now going to show us to build the best possible Eagles theme team. We would need 21.6 million coins, give or take, of course. That's not going to be 100% accurate, but it gives you the average price for every single card that you might need to go out and build this theme team. And you can see everything in the depth chart, offense, defense, special teams. It'll even show you the specialists where you can mix and match things here. You can add players. You can do whatever you want within this. It's just a great tool within the game right now to help you guys build out your theme team. And I think more importantly, it's going to help you tell you what are the best theme teams in the game. So right now, especially after part 2 of the Super Bowl promo, the best 2 theme teams in the game, number 1 is going to be the Eagles. You know I'm an Eagles fan at this point, right? But this is not me being biased. We just simply have the best theme team in the game right now. And honestly, I think it's going to be that way for the forthcoming future. Historically, it's always been 49ers, Raiders, and a couple other exceptions. But recently, we've had a lot of success, but also we've had a lot of players that have been kind of washed at the end of their career that usually get good items, like Julio Jones is a great example. Ndamukong Suh, they're probably going to get legend type items for the rest of eternity of MUT, as long as I'm alive at least. And when these players get those theme team items, you might not remember Julio Jones as an Eagle, at least I do, but it's going to be a player that's known to get a card, year in and year out. And the Eagles have had a lot of those types of players recently, so much thanks to Howie Roseman, and that combined with the success that we've had recently outside of obviously winning Super Bowls instead of 2018, and of course we're going to win one on Sunday, but I'm rambling now. So Eagles and Chiefs, definitely the top 2 theme teams in the game right now, mostly due to the Super Bowl promo. As we go on later into the year, they are probably, especially with the Roster Revolution promo, going to attempt to help out some of these other theme teams that might be hurting in certain positions. But the other teams that are pretty much always going to be around and are still really good right now, we talked about the Baltimore Ravens. They got a lot of good cornerbacks out there that have recently come out. When you think about Deion Sanders, Marlon Humphrey, that free Nate Wiggins, and you can look at some of the names, like Rod Woodson is probably going to get another card very soon. You always have good receivers. Just as I use the example with, the Eagles getting some washed up players, they got Deshaun Jackson when he was washed up, and for that, he's always going to get Ravens chemistry. You can see all the team chems that he's gotten throughout his career: Ravens, Raiders, Rams, Buccaneers, Washington Commanders. So right now, the Ravens, definitely one of the top tier theme teams that you can build. Same thing with the 49ers. They have a 93 overall team right now. Historically, very good team in the glory days. We don't have a Jerry Rice this year, which is surprising. I'm starting starting to think that they lost the rights to him, but overall, 49ers always a good theme team to think about building. Lions, they were really good early on in the year because of the playoffs and them being eliminated, and now the Super Bowl. They haven't really received a ton of good cards lately, but because they had such a good regular season, I certainly expect that they will continue to get some really good cards as the year goes on. You know, Adrian Peterson, you don't think of him as a Lion. You definitely don't think of him as a Saint, a Seahawk, or a Titan, but you think about him and all the different theme teams he gets. But I bring that up because, you know, the Lions theme team, you're probably going to see another Jahmyr Gibbs at some point, probably going to see another Jameson Williams, another Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got a good handful of legends that have played for this team, so I do think the Lions will still be one of the better theme teams in the game to close out the year. And the same thing goes with the Washington Commanders, 93 overall right now. They have some, you know, big MUT legends that get cards every year. Again, Deshaun Jackson, Deion Sanders, Sean Taylor, of course. Ken Houston and Jeremy Chin are always good safeties that we've been seeing in MUT throughout the years. They got a ton of awesome offensive linemen during the playoff promo. So the Commanders will be really, really good. Falcons have a really good theme team. Again, you can see a lot of this right here on the website. Jets are always good and kind of come in bunches where they're going to get a bunch of random cards. I shouldn't say random, but they're going to get a bunch of good cards. And then don't sleep on the Raiders. They haven't been good IRL very long, or recently, I should say, but they've been getting a lot of legends, or they get a lot of legends throughout their years, and they always have a viable theme team. So those are going to be the best theme teams in the game right now. All the tips and tricks. This video probably ended up being a lot longer than I expected, but hopefully it helped a lot of you out. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.